on the analysis of the divine plan, what has been worked on the last month, especially. If you noticed yesterday and the day before, we were dealing with certain resistance forces. So if you were feeling extremely tired or just like the energy felt a little bit off, it is because of that. Now I'll give you the basic information as far as the movement of the divine plan for this month. Um, so you know what's up. So if you look at about a month, a little bit more ago, you probably felt a certain push with the discipline. Okay, there are some beings in the console that are helping push with the discipline, and they are like really smashing everyone with it. Because what has happened is that about 2 months ago, they started preparing the earth or the collective for their next uh, level, their next breakthrough. Okay. Now, the lightworkers are helping with the rise of the collective. So, in a sense, when we lost, when we evolve, we are pulling them behind us. Now, this does not go exactly towards this. Simply put, the light workers that had this role, many of them were not doing enough of their work. No, this does not necessarily mean that you have to do some kind of like grid work or things like that. It's going to be being specific of what your quest is. I'm speaking of the simple overall your personal evolution, like the door that you see yourself going through, the expansion of your consciousness, things like that. Simply, there were many beings who were not doing enough of their work as far as that. So that's why the real and the discipline is you haven't figured it out yet. The discipline is super important. It's one of the divine characteristics. Um, so if you did not have like some kind of routine, discipline with your technique, they will definitely put you really strongly in that. But remember that you don't need to fucking meditate 3 hours per day. That's not really all. It's fake. See? Every moment of your life is a meditation. So there are certain techniques that you can do as far as your, inner observation, the movement of energy, things like that, that is extremely important. So if you're not moving every day, like what am I dealing with? What is coming up for me? What is my next level? What are the next doors that I need to go through as far as your personal lessons and your personal evolution and growth? You see, you have to really be on point with that. Now, the simple technique that you can use is, go sit with a tree for 10 minutes per day. But really, you see, you don't need to be there for hours and hours. But having some daily discipline, some simple things. We love simple. And with those simple disciplines, you can go very deep and very far and very high. Okay, but it has to be constant. So there was a great push forward with that. Along with this goes also physical exercise. So if you got a base to start moving more physically, you kind of have to pump the energy in certain instances. So physical exercise is absolutely awesome for this. Simply do it with this intention, right? You don't necessarily need to do it with the intention to like grow your muscles, okay? You do it with the intention to move and to push energy. So those are like two very important things that they started at about a month ago. And then as far as this rise up of the collective, right? One thing I said was because many light workers were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. So apart from pushing the disciplines, many beings had their mission shifted. Okay, because simply there was just too much behind in the sense. Okay, so some other beings, got two missions. Some had their changed. Many new beings were brought in to help with this specific step. Um, and now, as far as that, or the resistance energies that we're going through, especially yesterday and the day before, it was about a week ago that the Earth went through a specific breakthrough point, okay? And it basically has to do with the fake life, okay? Because if you look at where the collective was a month ago, like, when they were supposed to pull the collective up, one of the problems was that they weren't doing enough discipline. Okay, now of course it doesn't go for everyone, and it's the general picture. Okay, but then the second and even bigger problem was the fake life. Okay, as you probably know, there were many infiltrations from every kind of direction, and I will say that the dark ones really did like a very specific job with the fake life. Now, what the fake life does overall is that, like, let's say that you're searching for something, okay, as far as like your path. When you connect with a fake life and you don't notice that it's fake life, it's gonna change your direction. You see, it's gonna make you feel like you have to follow this instead of that. You need to see your true path. So that was their overall intention with it, to basically guide us away from that straight and a very specific path that everyone has to do. Now, this doesn't mean that it completely shifts your path. It's like small variations, small turns are more than enough for something like that. Why this is so dangerous is because with the fake life, there's many belief systems that are related. I have spoken about belief systems a lot, because it's truly one of the biggest things, alongside, of course, with like traumas. But most of you already know how to work with traumas. Okay, belief systems are a little bit trickier, especially because there's some belief systems that are like very obvious, but some of them were created in such a way that it's quite difficult to see through them. Now, if someone is in a belief system, it doesn't really matter like how much light you're channeling through. See, because the belief itself is holding your consciousness expansion at a certain level. So you can kind of simplify it in this way that, let's say you're at a certain level and you're just bringing lots and lots and lots of energy through there, but you cannot really rise to the next level because this belief is blocking your consciousness expansion in regards to it. Okay? I'm not saying you're not gonna be rising up in different kinds of levels, because you see there's different levels per se, okay? But in the specific, as far as what the belief system, it's like how much it is holding back your consciousness expansion, your see like seeing things from all of the directions and then raising up from there. It's huge. Okay? So even if you have one simple belief system that, for instance, I like to give this example because it's so, you see, straightforward. Tobacco, it's a spiritual tool. If you are perceiving it as something else other than that, I'm not speaking of like how people use it, but how the plant was meant to be used. If you're not perceiving it in this way, there is like a whole your consciousness that is being blocked. Now, it might look very little. You see, I just believe that, tobacco is blah, blah, something, you see. But what is hiding behind this block? Like, so much of your God consciousness, this is holding back. It's astronomical. It's enormous. Because once you break through, it's like a whole page will open up. You have this experience from other things on your path when you started waking up and you started like seeing some of the beliefs that were put on us, like on the collective, as far as I don't know, that we're just like some human beings, you see? When you break out of that belief, your perception, your awareness of things that opens up is huge. You open one door, but then you fucking enter a palace. See, it's the same with every kind of belief system. So even though you might have a very simple one, a very tiny one that expresses itself as just like one stupid thought, what's behind that is a lot deeper. Um, and this is also why many of you have probably received the pain, the feeling to go deeper, go deeper within yourself and really connect with what is say your I am or your higher self essence. You see, because the path that we're making, you're not meant to receive all the answers from your guides or like, from someone out there. Many of those answers have to be remembered from within yourself. You see? Um, it's kind of like the same way when you start waking up and you start reading maybe like blogs that say, humans are angels incarnated in bodies, some things like that. You see, that's like an outside information to receive. But then once you truly integrate that, it's like from inside out that you remember this and you know it. That's how it feels. The same way when you're breaking through those belief systems, it's so that you see some are like very thin. They appear very tiny and are many times difficult to catch, especially because many of you aren't really working with both your hearts. You see, you're still focused only on your heart chakra. You can expand out from there, guys. You have a feminine and a masculine heart. So if you're not using both of those parts in balance, well, you're out of balance. So basically, anything that you'll be perceiving, if it only goes from one part or mainly from one part, you will simply not have the right picture or like the complete picture. And it might look like you do because you're only looking from one side, right? And it feels like you're looking from a broader view. But then someone else that, does use their heart in balance will see the difference where you will not. And a big thing that has come up, of course, has been coming up, with the lightworkers, is still because of those belief systems and because of the fake life of what it costs. There's still not the right unity. There's a specific feeling that we have to go to that is still not there. So many times when you have people in different kinds of belief systems, instead of them working through that as brothers and sisters, they will block each other out. They will not talk to that other being, or they will get triggered. They will be upset because someone said something that is against of like the truth that they share, or some kind of bullshit like that. You see, because that's what the fake light wanted us to do, because it gives you this fake feeling of connection. See, now there's different ways to see through that. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes you need a little bit more experience to fully see it through. But to give you like an overall idea how it feels, okay? Fake light, if you feel very deeply within yourself. Although the light itself might feel very powerful and like you're attracted to it, at the bottom of your heart, there will be a certain heaviness. Okay? Now, many people get confused when feeling fake light because sometimes they're not deep enough, sometimes they're not experienced enough. And many times it is also because this feeling that the fake light gives from the outside is so intense that they do not feel the heaviness that's at the bottom of the heart. Now, there is another trick in that because the true light, okay, it will go straight into you. You see, it's like a bullet that goes straight into your heart. But if you have some belief system or something that you don't see about yourself, this bullet will cause a certain trigger in you. So instead of it fully going through and opening up that feeling of like freedom, it will hit a certain block or like a something that's in you that shouldn't be there, and you will be triggered by it. And many people in that moment, instead of recognizing the trigger and just being like, okay, I see it, that's a trigger, I have to push through it, they step back because they kind of see it as some kind of attack. You see, if something is triggering you or if someone is triggering you, use it for your growth. See, that's the purpose of it. That's why whenever something triggers you, it's on you. It doesn't matter what the other person says or does. You see, it's you who's being triggered. Um, so that's one of the things that you have to be very conscious of. And then at the same time, as said, the fake light will fill you in from the inside out, you see, and usually it's like a really intense feeling. Whereas the true light will work from the center out, and the true light will always, in a sense, it works more with you. So you have to work with it. It's like, of course, the like allowing of the energies and all that comes into play. But maybe let's say in this way that the fake light will try to push you forward with a certain kind of sneakiness without you noticing that it's sneaky. You see, that's how it tricks you. Whereas the true light will push you forward in a sense that you work with yourself, for yourself, and of course, love and all creation. It's only in a sense supporting you. So it's kind of like it's holding you from the bottom, you see, and it's allowing your expansion. It's growing with you and from the center out. Whereas the fake light, it will come in very strong. It will give you like a feeling like, yeah, that's it. But then at the bottom of it, it doesn't go fully through and it does not support your evolution in the same way. I suggest that you kind of play around with those feelings a little because it's going to give you a better idea of it. But overall, as said, you have to be very conscious in some moments to know the difference. You see? Um, so yeah, as far as the I am essence, like you always really have to. You are your own guide. You see, mother and father for your of all creation are our teachers, our masters. We are our own guides, and then everyone else that you work with, you cannot see them, have to see them as helpers. Okay, I'm using this word because many times people get so like attached in some sense to their guide, to the information that they receive from them, that they kind of don't search for this information from within themselves. You see, there's also a slight difference in this. So you are making the path of remembrance of who you truly are and You see, your growth and evolution. Uh, and all the answers are in you. You have to go deep enough. So yeah, a week ago, something I would say, well, it wasn't a great. Well, it was quite an operation. Okay, so I will not go into the details of it. But as that, some things as far as the fake flights were taken down, and then 2 days ago we started getting the backslash from not just the fake flights, you see, but the light workers who were in that fake flight. Because as far as technology being, you know, entities, whatever, who were holding on this fake light, it was fairly easy to remove that. Okay, a bigger problem, a much bigger problem, was the backlash of light workers who had some of those belief systems that were put in them by the fake light or something in that sense, and they are not willing to let that go. You see? I'll go back to the same example that I always give. Okay? If you have a belief that tobacco is a spiritual plant, is bad, okay? And let's say I'm speaking with someone that has this perception, okay? And they will say, that's your truth and this is my truth. Like, for your truth, you say tobacco is good for you, but for my truth, it's not so. You see? To a certain degree, okay, at least we have reached the level of not arguing. Okay, that's big. Even that took a while. But the truth about things like that is the same for the whole fucking creation. Okay? It's a plant that Mother Earth gave specifically for light workers because it opens up something for you. You see? And if you're like in the sense of, this is my truth, this is your truth, and you just kind of want to let it go, well, we're not rising in the consciousness, removing the block of belief systems that we should be releasing. And this is when there's not full unity because there's not full truth. You see it? And beings like that usually really do not want to let it go. Like, they'll be so fixed on this idea that they have that they will not let it go for nothing. You see? Sometimes it even happens that their guide told them, don't smoke, or you see something in that sense. Be conscious. Us, your guides will give you information that you need in the moment. And also, you will receive what you are capable of receiving. So if you have a very fixed belief system that it's something bad, they will most likely not start like smashing on your head to tell you that it's not. You see, this is a step that you yourself have to make. And once you open up your consciousness in that way, then they will tell you other parts of that truth. See, it's kind of like being on a mountain and then only looking from one direction. You see, until you open up, they will not show you the whole view. See, um, and things always change. So it's a tool like that because it's a spiritual tool. You felt like not using it at a certain moment, what things change. You see, I'm telling you that because there's so many of you that are not. You could do so much more. Oh my gosh, if you just ask the Native Americans, like ask them why they use it and how they use it and what they experience with it. Because many of you are like, oh, I don't need it because I'm good. Like, I know how to work with energy. I'm good. It's like, yeah, you are good, but you could be better. It's just like you don't fucking want to let go because you are holding to it so strongly. You're like absolutely this is absolute truth, and you're just fucking holding on to it with your life. Guys, you're gonna have to let it go because the river will take you. See, of course, your pad will, like, they'll modify it accordingly. But there's things like that. Many, 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 many believe, see, that you could have a much more straightforward and a much faster evolution level. So the more you hold on to something, you see, that's why Mother of Creation, one of her guidelines is receive and let go. Don't hold on to, like, any information that you receive. You receive it, you can write it down or something like that, but then you let it go. See, that's how you have to do it. Because if you start holding on, that's straight on attachment. As soon as you're in attachment, you're not going to be receiving clear information. And as far as the fake light and the truth light, I would just say that the percentage was pretty low. Okay, I don't give a fucking want. I would just say it was lower than we would like it to be. So check within yourself. Okay, if someone has something to share about light work, about like whatever kind of information it is, be open to it. Even if you don't feel it's true, you see, but be open to it because, anytime people put on walls, because it's like, you know, I know the truth, they have told me, like, okay, but if you have energy wall around you because of that, it's the same thing. You see, those are like small energy variations, maybe, that you know have to be more actively worked on, because we really have to come together as a family, especially the ones of you who are 144. If you're 144 and you're arguing with someone else that also 144 about something that is truth or not truth, well, you have a problem. We have a problem. You see, that's what we're kind of in. Because all 144, we fucking, oh God, come on. We have done this like on so many planets, so many fucking lifetimes. It's in unity, in knowing and remembering the same truth. You see? Um, I think I was. So yeah, as said, many beings for all of those reasons will be kicked in the butt quite strongly. Either if you're not, as disciplined as you should be, or if you're holding on to some things that maybe you don't even see that you're holding on to. See, um, it will just have to go. And also this feeling of family, of unity. I mean, they've been working on this. We've been working on this since what feels like forever. Okay, especially like since this summer, they really focus on that. And of course, there's improvement, but when I look at, you know, as the oracle at lightworkers and your potential and where we could be, I want to thank everyone as well. You see, because we can do better in that sense. You see, you just kind of you don't want to let go or let your walls down. You just keep holding fucking walls up with people. It's like, what is wrong with you? We are a family. Especially if you're 144 and you're fucking holding up walls with someone else that's 144, you see? And the excuse of many of you will be that, like, oh, someone is not, like, I felt some dark energy from there, or like they were attacking me and stuff like that. Well, guys, let me tell you that you can work with that kind of energy without having your walls on. If you have not learned that yet, go and practice because for this next phase where humanity needs to go up, see, where we need to pull them up, we need to do it together. You see? Um, so imagine that, visualize it, see, and then put it in practice in the physical. You see, I cannot tell you like so many times you get across, even spiritual communities. Let's say beings that would just, oh, anyhow, not gonna go into that. Okay, let me go. Connect as a family. If you're connecting with someone as like, I'm the master and you're my student, fantastic. Like, yeah, of course, it might be the case, but the main energy of it should be we are brothers, we are sisters. You see, that has to be the base of it. And then with that, you will also see a lot of arrogance coming up and thinking someone knows better and kind of people pulling away when they kind of don't feel resonance or like when they don't want to go through one of their walls. They would try to pull away and pull back. It's probably not gonna really work well for you if you try to do that because angels will squeeze you with another wall from behind. Yeah? So guys, let it go. Why the fuck does it matter? Like, why does it matter if you were wrong or you were right or like whatever? Find the common ground because once you're in that true remembrance, we know the same thing. And you see, why it also happens that the codes are not going through the same way is simply because people are not deep enough in their heart. Okay? It doesn't matter how connected you are, there's levels and levels that you can go deeper and expand more. So if you're speaking with someone, okay, you already know this as far as the heart telepathy. Okay, you know how it is when like someone that you're really resonating with says something and like they might say three words, but the information that you receive inside is like almost like reading the whole book, right? That kind of feeling should always be there, even if you're talking with someone that's like on a different level than you. But that heart understanding, the heart telepathy should always be there. Now, many times it is not because, again, you're putting up walls. You don't want to fully open up to everyone. You just have specific people that you trust enough to open up in this time. You see? Um, so this is the overall guidance for now. They have started a new process today. It's in the works. I'm keeping it secret for now. Okay, you see. And also, mom and dad have worked a lot on the FM radio energies, or I will just simply say like sound overall. So if you kind of got like, started hearing more music from inside, or got a thing to maybe work with some kind of instrument, crystal balls, something like that, that's because of it. They are the last month they were working strongly with some water energies. Now this has moved through the sound because if you feel into it, you see, you combine water and sound in your body as vibrations. You see, and also there's always new codes that they are putting in. So definitely feel into all of those things. And if you have not yet mother and father have recommended several movies for us to watch because they have put new codes in them. I really strongly recommend you do because it's just like the codes are amazing. So even if you have seen those movies before, go watch them again because they have a sad new quotes in them. The Journey to the Center of the Earth, the latest movie, that's one of them. Then we have the what is the anger management? Angels and Demons. Um, that's the movie that like goes on in Vatican. Anyhow, there's a list of the movies on our Facebook site, so go check that out and have some relaxing movies, relaxing moments watching the movies, receiving the code. I love you a lot, and so see you soon. Bye.